Good morning, dear children. How are you all? Hope you all are doing good. A very warm welcome to class 5. Today we are going to learn the first lesson of social studies, that is globes and maps. In this lesson we are going to learn about the shape of the earth, how to use globes and maps, and why there is a need for shapes, symbols, and colors on a map. These are the objectives of the lesson. Like what all things we are going to learn in this lesson. Have you ever wondered, children, like where exactly on the earth do we live? Have you ever thought about what is the shape of the earth? If you remember, we have learned in standard 3rd only that the shape of the earth is spherical. So for proving this, we have just a warm-up activity. Everyone, please look on the screen. There is a picture where you can see a ship is sailing in the water. Now imagine you are at the seaside. You are watching a ship sail away. Now what do you see? What is happening over there? When you see the ship has gone far away, it becomes smaller and smaller in size, and slowly the ship disappears. Now gradually, like you are not able to see the ship only, it disappears completely. The slow vanishing of ship tells us that the shape of the earth is round and not flat. Henceforth, to prove this, we have a short example. You can say a short story. We will look about that. You know, children, long ago, people thought that the earth is flat. People were not even ready to travel far away because they were scared. If we travel far, we could fall down from the earth because it is not in round or spherical shape, it is flat. People, they assumed that the earth was flat, so they did not used to move towards far away places. But later on when pictures were taken from the space, then they got to know that earth is actually spherical like a sphere. It is not flat, it is spherical like a sphere. As the people believed that the earth was flat, now how it was proved that earth was not flat actually. There was a person, he was a Portuguese explorer, Ferdinand Magellan. He sailed around the earth and proved that the earth is round in shape. Now you all must be wondering how. However, it is not a perfect round. It is like a orange. If you assume the orange, it does not have a proper shape, round shape. It is flat at the top and the bottom. So if you keep the orange on the table, it will stay. But if you in place of a orange, if you have a ball, if you place the ball on a table, it will roll down because it does not have a top and a bottom flat. So here basically the earth shape is it is compared like it is like an orange which is bulging at the middle. Bulging means little fatter and slightly flat at the top and the bottom. And the two points, which is the top and the bottom, these are called as poles on the earth. And the extreme north side, it is the north pole, and at the bottom, if you can see in the picture, it is the south pole. So there are two poles. The top side, it is the north pole, and at the bottom, it is the south pole. And even the earth is divided by an imaginary line, that is it is known as equator. The equator again divides the earth into two, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Now here in this picture we can see This is the top point is the North Pole, at the bottom it is the South Pole, and the earth is divided by the equator, and the earth is divided into two parts. That one at the upper side it is the northern hemisphere, at the lower side below you can see the southern hemisphere. So now if you see Ferdinand Magellan, when he started his journey, he's at one point he started, and after many days when he returned, he came back to the same point. Hence it was proved that earth is round in shape, like it is spherical in shape, and it is not flat. So here, and we have learned about the extreme north and the extreme south points of the earth, which are known as poles. The region at the top of the earth, it is the North Pole, and at the bottom it is the South Pole. Why it is known as the extreme north and extreme south? Because it is at the end of the earth. So I guess you all are cleared with the shape of the earth. It is spherical in shape. It is not flat, it is spherical in shape. So now the next point which we are going to discuss is about globe. Now if we would be in school, we would have learned this point with the help of a model which we have in our science lab, and you all must have seen also in third and fourth standard also we have used the globe. Basically we all are familiar about globe. The globe, it is a model of earth. Now why is it known as like model of the earth? Because it replicates the earth. It is same like earth, and globes are always mounted on an axle stand. Now here in the picture you can see, because as here in the picture, to stay, it is always mounted on an axle stand. The axle tilt is the same as the tilt of the earth's axis. As a line goes by here, there is a tilt axis that is represented by the tilt, that is the axis tilt. It is the same as the tilt of the earth's axis. Here the globe accurately represents the distributions of continents, oceans on the earth. See in this picture you can see a globe is an exact model of the earth here, and showing the correct shape and location of the continents, oceans and sea on a smaller scale. Now you can keep rotating the globe and you can check out different continents, different oceans on the earth, different seas. Everything is visible on the globe. So you can keep rotating the globe and you can check out. But children, when we use the globe, there are certain problems with it. Now we will discuss about the problems. A globe does not show the details of landforms, and like small towns are not located, and many small informations like small towns and villages and all the things are not depicted on the globe. It is not easy. Like if you talk about continents and ocean, okay, very huge continents and oceans can be seen clearly on the globe, but very small towns or villages or places like this are not depicted on the globe easily. Secondly, it does not show the entire earth at a time. Like suppose if you use the globe, you can see only one part of the earth. Then for to observe the next part, you have to again rotate it. You cannot see the whole earth, the entire earth at one time. That is one major problem about the globe. Then larger globes are difficult to handle. If the globes are big in size, the globes comes in many sizes, and if the globes are too huge in size, it becomes very difficult for us to handle. Suppose if I have to travel somewhere, if I have to carry it somewhere, so it becomes very difficult for me to handle it. Then it is also difficult to carry a globe around. As I told you, if I am traveling or if I am moving around somewhere, so it becomes very difficult for me to carry around the globe everywhere. So these are some, you can say, disadvantages of using a globe. So when the geographers they came to know about the disadvantages of globe, then they thought of some simple things. as in they thought a substitute for globe, that is the map, that is the wall map. Basically they are known as wall maps, there are big wall maps which we can hang on the wall and which we can study it all at once. Like a map, like a globe, even the map represents the earth. It is a drawing of different parts of the earth on a flat surface. Like a globe, it is not round in shape, it is on a flat surface or a paper where you can see the entire earth at a time. For that, for looking out the earth, you don't have to keep rotating it, you can see the entire earth at a time. Map shows specific details of areas very well. Suppose if you want to find out the railway routes or the rivers or small seas or any towns or villages, so everything in detail we can check out on the map. Like specific very minute details also you can check out on the map. They are also very convenient to carry, as in like you can just roll it out and wherever you are going you can carry your map along with you, so it becomes very easy for us to carry a map. So children, I think you understood about the difference between globe and a map. Like we have learned about what is globe. See, both the things, globe and a map, both of them represent the earth, but there are certain disadvantages for globe, whereas the map becomes easier for us to study things conveniently. Now the next point which we are going to discuss is about types of map. Now there are basically three types of map. There are many type of maps such as political, physical and thematic maps. Three types of maps, they are political, physical and thematic maps. Now a political map of a country shows political features such as states, provinces, capitals, city and major towns. Suppose if you are studying a political map of India, now we already have like wall maps in our school, we have gone through many a times. Like if you study about India, political map of, if it is a political map of India, so on that you will be able to learn about different states of India, then their capital cities, which are the major towns in the cities. And if you talk about physical map, it shows the different landforms, water bodies, even the mountains, plains, plateaus, valley, river and even the oceans in that particular country. So your physical map shows all the different landforms and water bodies and mountains and valleys and etc. Plus when you talk about like apart from political and physical, there are also thematic maps. Now thematic maps which shows special features of an area, like it includes map showing rainfall about that particular region, what is the vegetation of that region, then which minerals are found and even which industries are located in that area. So that is all being depicted on a thematic map. Now here there are some I have some pictures to show you about the political and physical map. See, this is the political world map what is displayed on the screen right now. Even in our corridor when you pass by, you can see the wall maps are there on the wall. Whenever you pass by, keep observing the maps. Here you can see all the oceans and continents and seas in the world which are marked. So this is the political map. Then here we have India's map, plus this is the physical map of India. So children, I guess you all understood about political, physical and thematic maps. Now there is one book which is named as Atlas. It is a collection of maps bound together. In an atlas you can see all sort of maps, political map, physical maps, thematic maps, and it is a collection of all maps together. So that book is named as Atlas. If you get to see that book, it will be good. Now next point which we are going to discuss, it is about signs and symbols. Now suppose if I have a map in front of me, but if I don't know how to learn that map, so for that we have signs and symbols on a map, and even there are different colors which are depicted on a map. Now we will see how to use those signs and symbols. See, map use various signs and symbols to depict different features. If you see a map closely, you would find signs and symbols depicting rivers, roadways, railways, temples, schools. Now, these signs and symbols are also known as conventional signs and symbols. I'll show you. See, if you can observe this map, you can find there are small linings like blue color and white colors and all. So here these are the conventional signs and symbols which are showing the waterways and all, like rail routes and all. On all the maps you can see these are the signs and symbols which are being depicted. So these signs and symbols are very important when we study about a map. On all the maps the signs and symbols are present. And even if you see at the corner there is a legend. To study about the map, which map it is, we are using the legend even to study about the map. At every corner at the map you will find a legend. See, each map contains a key or a legend to help us to understand the symbols used on the map. Like suppose which symbol is for what. If a mountain is depicted, so with what symbol the mountain is shown, the rivers are shown with what symbol, so that contains in the legend. Now next topic which we are going to discuss is about colors on a map. Now different colors like blue, brown, yellow, green, all different colors are used on a map. Now what does this different color represent? See, a map also uses different colors to depict different landforms and water bodies. As in, green color on a map represents plain area, while yellow represents deserts, and mountains and highlands are represented by brown, while oceans and other water bodies are represented in shades of blue. Well, let us just observe with a picture. Now on the screen if you can see, here at the top you can see the brown and yellowish color. Then these are the this brown color depicts the mountains, the green color depicts the plains, and the blue color on the map depicts the water bodies. So this colors also play an important role to study about the particular map. Now the last point of the lesson is about direction and scale. Now if you want to study about the map, first you should be familiar about the direction, and on every map basically there is an arrow at the top which shows a small n. So it is about, like, it is showing that it is the direction north. Now directions are very important to study map. They are used correctly to locate a place on a map, whether that particular place in north direction or whether it is in any sub direction between northeast or northwest. So that is being learned with the help of directions. There are 4 main directions on a map. They are north, south, east and west, and there are also 4 sub directions on a map, that are northeast between north and east, southeast between south and east, southwest between south and west, and northwest between north and west. Again this we will observe with the help of a picture. Before that, I just forgot to show you the picture of the different symbols which are used on the map. These are the conventional signs and symbols. Like suppose if they want to show about the petrol pump, so there is a symbol of petrol pump. If they want to show depict the airport, so these are the different conventional signs and symbols which are used on a map. Now here we are going to learn about the 4 major directions, that is north, south, east and west. Again these directions are subdivided into sub directions. They are, now when if you can observe on the picture, north, south, east and west. Now as you can see on the picture, the direction between north and east, that is northeast, the direction between south and east, that is southeast, and the subdirection between south and west, that is southwest, and the direction between north and west, that is the subdirection northwest. So we have major four directions, that is north, south, east and west, and the subdirections are falling between them: northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest. So I hope it is cleared with everyone. So after studying the directions, now we have learned to, if we want to study a map, we can use the colors, we can use conventional signs and symbols, we can use directions and subdirections on a map. Same way, there is a scale on a map. Like if you will find a small ruler like symbol in the lower right side of a map, this is called a scale on a map. Now what does the scale do? A scale is used because it is not possible to show the actual distance. Like suppose if you talk about the distance between Baramati to Pune, it is like 100 kilometers, but that 100 kilometers we are not able to show on the map. So for that reason we use a scale, because we cannot show the actual distance between places on a map. Like it is the ratio between the distance on a map and the real distance on the ground. Suppose if in the scale it is 1 centimeter is equal to 50 kilometers. So from Pune to Baramati we can show 4 centimeters, that becomes we can show 2 centimeters, we can show 2 centimeters, that becomes 100 kilometers. So here when we are not able to show the actual distance on a map, so that is why we make use of a scale, and it is the ratio between the distance on the map and the real distance on the ground. See, if you can see on the screen, this kind of symbol is seen on the map. Scale is the ratio between the actual distance on the ground and the distance between distance shown on the map. So in this way there is this small ruler like symbol, that is the scale. So with this we have completed the first lesson, that is about globes and maps. So we will quickly just take a small recap like what we have studied in this lesson. See, we have studied that earth is almost round in shape, like it is spherical in shape. And then we have learned about globes. Globes accurately represent continents and water bodies on the earth. And even we have studied about some disadvantages of globes, like because of its size it is not easy to carry, and plus we cannot see the whole earth at a time on the globe. So that is why instead of globe we can always use maps. And even map like it represents earth, and they are the drawings of the whole or the part of the earth on a flat surface. As it they are on the flat surface, it becomes easier for us to study on the map. And map uses several signs and symbols. Even it uses colors to represent different landscape. And we have studied about directions also, directions and the subdirections. And plus we have at the last we just discussed about how, like what is a scale on a map. So I hope you all understood the lesson. Thank you, children.